Do you know why most people stay broke even after they pray, even after they tithe, even after they say thank you to God every single Sunday or every single Sabbath? I am going to tell you something that might shock you, but it needs to be said. The way you are thanking God for your money is actually pushing wealth away from you. I know that sounds crazy. I know it sounds backwards, but I have spent over 30 years studying the Talmud, the Torah, and the ancient wealth principles that Jewish families have passed down quietly for 3,000 years, and I can tell you with absolute certainty that gratitude done wrong is worse than no gratitude at all. Most people treat their paycheck like a dead transaction. Money comes in, they say a quick thank you, maybe they post something on social media about being blessed, and then they spend it all by the end of the month. That is not gratitude. That is a receipt, and the universe does not respond to receipts. By the end of this video, you are going to know the exact 5-second prayer that transforms every single dollar, that touches your hands into a seed of generational wealth. This is the same prayer structure that has been whispered inside Jewish households for centuries. And toward the end, I'm going to share the most powerful warning about this prayer that most people will never hear because most rabbis will not say it publicly. If you ignore that warning, this prayer can actually work against you. So stay with me through every single word, because what I am about to teach you is not something you will find in any church, any motivational seminar, or any finance book on the shelf at your local bookstore. This comes from the source. My grandfather was a Torah scholar in Jerusalem. He was not a wealthy man by the world's standards. He did not drive luxury cars or wear expensive suits, but every single one of his children became financially independent. Every single grandchild, including me, never experienced poverty. And it was not because of some trust fund or family business. It was because of something he did every single time money entered his household. I remember being 14 years old, sitting in his study after Shabbat dinner. The candles were still burning low, and the house was quiet. He called me over, and he said something I will never forget. He said, "The moment money arrives, you have exactly 5 seconds to determine whether that money will multiply or evaporate. 5 seconds. That is all." He told me that most people treat money like air. It comes in, it goes out, and they never think about the sacred moment of transition. I need to stop here for a moment. What I'm about to share changed my life, and it's already changing thousands of others. I've put everything into the Jewish Money Code, 3 complete books with all the rituals, prayers, and ancient principles that wealthy Jewish families have protected for generations. This isn't just a video. This is the beginning. If you want the complete system, the link is in the description and pinned in the first comment. But the ancient rabbis understood something profound. They understood that money is not paper. Money is not numbers on a screen. Money is spiritual energy, and like all spiritual energy, it responds to intention at the exact moment of contact. I did not understand what he meant, not then. I was 14. I wanted to play outside. But years later, when I was 26 and struggling to make rent in a tiny apartment, working 3 jobs and still falling behind, I remembered his words. I had tried everything the modern world tells you to try. I budgeted, I saved, I cut expenses. I read every financial book I could find. Nothing worked because I was treating money as a purely physical phenomenon while ignoring the spiritual dimension entirely. So one evening, I sat down and I did exactly what my grandfather taught me. The next paycheck that hit my account, I paused. I closed my eyes, and I said the 5-second prayer he had given me. Within 72 hours, I received an unexpected phone call that led to a consulting opportunity worth 10 times what I was making at my jobs. Within 6 months, I had paid off every debt. Within 2 years, I had built my first real investment portfolio. That is when I knew this was not just philosophy. This was not just tradition. This was a living, breathing, spiritual law that works whether you believe in it or not, the same way gravity works whether you believe in it or not. Now, before I go any further, I need to tell you something important. I wrote a book called The Ancient Wealth Code. In that book, I lay out the complete system, all 10 principles that Jewish families have used for 3,000 years to build, protect, and multiply wealth across generations. What I am sharing with you in this video today is real and it is powerful, but it is only a fraction of the full system. If you are serious, if you truly want to change your financial bloodline, the book is available right now. You will find the link in the description below and pinned in the first comment. Go grab your copy because I promise you, what is inside that book will change everything for you. Now let me tell you what you are doing wrong right now with your money. And I say this with love because I have sat across from thousands of people over the last 3 decades. Business owners, employees, single mothers, retirees, young entrepreneurs. And almost every single one of them had the same problem. They were grateful for their money, but they were grateful in the wrong way at the wrong time, with the wrong energy. Here is what most people do. Their paycheck hits their account on Friday. They see the number. They feel a brief moment of relief. Maybe they say, "Thank you, God." Maybe they whisper a quick prayer. And then immediately, within seconds, their mind shifts to bills. Rent is due, car payment is coming, credit card is overdue, groceries are expensive. And just like that, the energy of that money has been contaminated. You took sacred energy and you immediately wrapped it in fear and scarcity. The Talmud teaches something that most people have never heard. It says that sustenance is as difficult as the splitting of the Red Sea. Think about that. The rabbis are comparing the act of earning a living to one of the greatest miracles in all of human history. Why would they say that? Because they understood that money arriving in your hands is not ordinary. It is miraculous. I have to pause here because thousands of you have already downloaded the Jewish Money Code collection, and the messages I'm receiving are incredible. People paying off debt, attracting unexpected money, finally breaking the cycle of poverty. These 3 books contain everything: the rituals, the prayers, the mindset shifts, the daily practices, the complete system. The link is waiting for you in the description. Every day you wait is another day stuck in the same patterns. Now, let me share the most powerful secret. Every single paycheck, every single dollar, every single unexpected check in the mail is a miniature miracle. And when you treat a miracle casually, you insult the source of that miracle. That is what most people are doing. They are insulting the source, not intentionally, not maliciously, but through ignorance. And the ancient rabbis taught that ignorance does not protect you from spiritual consequences. The second mistake people make is even worse. They thank God for the money, and then they immediately worry about whether more will come. That is not gratitude. That is negotiation. You are essentially saying, "Thank you for this, but I do not trust you to send more." The Talmud is clear on this. Rabbi Elazar said, "Anyone who has bread in their basket and says, 'What will I eat tomorrow?' is among those of little faith." That teaching is thousands of years old, and it describes exactly what 90% of people do every single payday. They have the bread in their basket, and they are already worrying about tomorrow. The third mistake is the most subtle and the most destructive. People thank God with their mouth, but not with their hands. In Jewish tradition, words without corresponding action are empty vessels. They carry no spiritual weight. The ancient rabbis codified this into a specific, actionable system. Gratitude must be expressed through 3 channels simultaneously: the mouth, the hands, and the intention of the heart. Miss any one of those 3 channels and the prayer is incomplete. An incomplete prayer is like a phone call, where you dial the number, but hang up before anyone answers. The connection never gets made. Everything I'm teaching you in this video is only the beginning. If you are serious about applying these ancient Jewish wealth principles to your life, I wrote a book called The Ancient Wealth Code. It contains the complete system, all 10 principles that Jewish families have used for 3,000 years to build, protect, and pass down wealth from generation to generation. This is not theory. This is the exact playbook. It is available right now in the description below and pinned in the first comment. Go get your copy today, because knowledge without action is worthless. Now let me tell you what the correct approach looks like, and I want you to pay very close attention, because this is the method that has been guarded inside Jewish households for centuries. This is not something I invented. This is not something I read in a self-help book. This is the distilled wisdom of 3,000 years of rabbinical teaching, tested and refined across hundreds of generations. The method is built on a principle from the Kabbalah that says every physical thing in this world has a spiritual root. Money is no exception. When money arrives in your hands, you are not just receiving paper or digits. You are receiving a flow of divine energy that has been channeled to you specifically. The question is whether you know how to receive it properly. Most people grab money the way a drowning person grabs a life preserver, with panic, with desperation, with white-knuckle grip. But the Talmud teaches the opposite. You must receive with open hands. You must receive with calm authority. You must receive the way a king receives tribute, not because you are arrogant, but because you understand that this was always meant for you. It was ordained, it was directed, it was delivered. Your job is simply to receive it correctly and then direct it wisely. Let me walk you through the exact method. The 5-second prayer is not just 5 random words you say quickly. It is a precise sequence of intention, breath, and declaration that aligns your spiritual energy with the flow of abundance at the exact moment of monetary contact. Here is how it works. The first element you need is awareness of the moment. This sounds simple, but it is the part that most people miss entirely. When money comes to you, whether it is a direct deposit notification on your phone, a physical check in your hand, a cash payment from a client, or even coins you find on the ground, you must become aware of that moment as sacred. The ancient rabbis called this hakaras hatov, which means recognizing the good, not just saying thank you, but truly recognizing